Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. We're going to be focusing on Geminis today.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, who they are, who they get along with, and we're even going to take a peek into March 2025 for them.
Oh, wow. Using the source material you found.
Exactly. This is going to be fun. So whether you're a Gemini yourself or you just want to learn more about the Geminis in your life.
Or if you just like astrology in general.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. First up, we got to lay the groundwork. What are those like classic Gemini traits we always hear about?
Yeah.
The source material really emphasizes a few things.
Okay.
Like how chatty they are, how quick-witted they are, and it's like they have a million tabs open in their brain at once.
It's so true. And that makes a lot of sense when you remember that Geminis are ruled by Mercury,
Right.
the planet of communication and intellect.
Which explains so much.
It really does. It gives them that captivating communication style.
It's funny, I always think of that saying,
Oh, yeah.
a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's not really fair to Geminis.
I agree. It's more like they're masters of connecting all those different trades.
Okay, I like that, yeah.
Their ability to see all sides of something is a superpower when you're brainstorming or coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
But then they can also make, like, choosing a restaurant.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
A nightmare.
Yes, 100%. And this source material even mentions that Geminis can be indecisive,
Oh, for sure.
which makes sense given everything we just said.
Totally. They see every single option,
Yeah.
every possibility.
I've always wondered, though, is that indecision, like, rooted in a fear of making the wrong choice? Or is it more like not wanting to miss out on anything?
That is such a good question, and I think it probably depends on the Gemini individual.
Right.
But this source actually leans more towards that fear of missing out,
Oh, interesting.
that FOMO. It's not so much about being afraid of messing up. It's more about wanting to experience it all.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely tracks with the whole, like, million tabs open analogy.
Sure. So we've got the quick thinking, the indecisive, the multi-passionate Gemini. Now let's talk about who they vibe with best, romantically speaking.
All right, let's get into compatibility.
This is where I get a little skeptical.
Really?
Yeah.
About astrological compatibility.
Just a little bit. I think sometimes it can feel too generalized,
Yeah, I get that.
but I'm open to being proven wrong.
Yeah.
What does the source say?
Okay, well, it highlights Libra, Aquarius, Sagittarius, and Aries as generally good matches for Geminis.
Okay.
And it's interesting because you've got 2 air signs in there and then 2 fire signs.
That's a good point. I've always wondered why Geminis seem so drawn to fire signs.
Yeah.
Because on the surface, it doesn't seem like a super obvious match.
I know, but what's really cool here is that air and fire actually complement each other really well.
Okay.
Think of it like a bonfire. You need air to keep those flames going strong.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
So fire signs bring that passion, that energy, and then Geminis with that air element, they just fan those flames with their ideas and enthusiasm.
I love that. Okay, so we've got the air and fire connection.
Yeah.
But let's break it down by the specific signs, starting with Libra.
Oh?
Why are they supposed to be such a good match for Gemini?
So the source calls them the ultimate hype duo
Okay, I like that.
because they're both air signs. They
Mhm.
connect on an intellectual and social level.
Okay.
It's all about stimulating conversation,
Yes.
shared interests, and just a lighthearted approach to life.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh,
I could see those two like bouncing ideas off each other and getting into all sorts of fun.
absolutely.
What about Aquarius?
Aquarius.
How do they fit into the Gemini vibe?
So another air sign, Aquarius, really feeds into a Gemini's intellectual curiosity.
Ooh.
They're the type of pair who can stay up all night debating philosophy or brainstorming like a world-changing invention.
Oh my gosh, yes. I can already picture it.
Right.
So now let's move on to the fire signs.
Yeah.
First up, Sagittarius, the adventure of the Zodiac.
Yes.
How do they mesh with our multifaceted Gemini?
Well, the source points out that Sagittarius actually amplifies a Gemini's restlessness.
Uh-huh.
They encourage the spontaneous road trips and trying new things.
I can see that a Gemini and Sagittarius together would be pure chaotic energy.
Oh, yeah.
But in the best way possible, of course.
Of course.
Okay, what about Aries? They're known for their like fiery go-getter attitude.
Right, and that energy really complements a Gemini's constant flow of ideas.
Okay.
They're both quick on their feet, always up for a challenge.
Yeah.
And the source even says they might engage in like playful prank wars.
Oh, stop. I love that.
Right.
Aries bringing the bold moves and Gemini coming up with the intricate plan.
Exactly.
That sounds hilarious.
It does.
Okay, so we've covered the air and fire signs that supposedly mesh well with Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any signs that the source mentioned to kind of watch out for?
It did briefly mention Taurus and Scorpio as potentially trickier pairings.
Wait, hold on. I need to pause you right there.
Okay.
Earlier, we were talking about how Geminis dislike routine. And now you're saying Taurus, who thrives on routine, could be compatible. Help me understand.
That's a great question, and it actually highlights the nuance of astrological compatibility. So our sun sign compatibility gives us like a general idea, but it's important to remember that everybody's birth chart is totally unique.
Right.
There are so many other factors that come into play.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So even though Taurus and Gemini may seem like opposites at first glance, there could still be potential for a strong connection depending on those individual birth charts.
Exactly. And the source doesn't say that these pairings are impossible.
Okay.
Just that they might take a little more work and understanding.
Gotcha. Okay. That clarifies things.
Good.
So we've got the lowdown on Gemini personality and their cosmic BFFs.
Right?
But we can't forget about the future.
No.
This source includes predictions for Gemini in March 2025.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, it just feels so futuristic and cool to me.
I know, it's like getting a glimpse into a possible timeline.
Right. So what does March 2025 have in store for Geminis? The source calls it a cosmic roller coaster, which already has me intrigued.
Ooh, buckle up.
I know, right?
Right.
So to really dive into these predictions, we need to touch on a key astrological event.
Okay.
Venus retrograde.
Oh, yes, Venus retrograde. It's basically internet famous at this point.
Right. But for those who might not be familiar,
Yeah.
could you give us a quick rundown of what it means?
Of course. So an astrology retrograde just means a planet appears to be moving backward from our perspective here on Earth.
Okay.
And Venus retrograde specifically is known for shaking things up in our relationships,
Okay.
our values, even our finances.
Gotcha. So we've got Venus retrograde happening in March 2025.
Do.
How does that specifically affect Geminis?
So the source says Venus retrograde will be in Aries.
Okay.
And for Geminis, it's going to impact their 11th house of friendships and aspirations.
Ooh, so should Geminis expect like some drama with their friends, breakups, makeups, backstabbing?
Well, it doesn't have to be quite that dramatic.
Yeah.
The source mentions like the return of old friends, or even just like a reevaluation of your existing friendships. It's more about revisiting the past in some way.
Okay, so not necessarily a bad thing,
Right.
but definitely a time to pay attention to friendships and what they mean to you.
Exactly. And on top of that, early March also has Mercury in Pisces,
Okay.
which the source says will boost a Gemini's public image. It's like a cosmic spotlight is shining on them.
Ooh, Geminis love a little attention.
Don't they?
Is this when we might see those viral TikTok moments happening?
It's very possible. It's a great time for them to put themselves out there, express themselves creatively, and their natural charm and communication style will really shine through.
I love it. Okay, so early March is looking like a mix of friendship shakeups and opportunities to shine.
Yeah.
What about mid-March? Does the roller coaster keep going?
Oh yeah, buckle up, because mid-March is when things really start to pick up speed.
Okay.
The sun is still in Pisces, so that spotlight's still on Geminis. And then Mercury joins the party in Pisces as well, so it's like their communication skills get supercharged.
That sounds like a recipe for some serious networking and collaborative projects.
Exactly. The source specifically mentions that this is a prime time for Geminis to team up with other air signs like Libra or Sagittarius.
Wow.
The synergy between those elements is going to be electric.
So we've got like dynamic duos taking over the world in mid-March.
Potentially. It's all about brainstorming creative expression and amplifying each other's ideas. But here's where it gets interesting. Even with all of this amazing energy, we can't forget that Venus retrograde is still in play.
Oh, right. The source did warn about potential relationship drama.
Yes, it might be a time of mixed signals or misunderstandings, especially in romantic relationships.
Oh.
The source even suggests that Geminis might experience ghosting or sudden changes of heart from others.
Ouch. That doesn't sound fun. So how are Gemini supposed to navigate this potential minefield of emotions while still embracing all the positive opportunities coming their way?
Communication is key. Being open and honest with the people in your life is crucial during this time.
Yeah.
It's also important to remember that not everything is as it seems. So don't jump to conclusions or let those fears of missing out dictate your actions.
That's really good advice for anyone, not just Geminis.
It really is.
So I've got early March focused on friendships and public image. Mid-March is all about collaboration and communication amidst a bit of romantic confusion.
Yeah.
What about the grand finale late March? Does the roller coaster finally slow down?
Not exactly. Late March sees the sun moving into Aries,
Okay.
shifting the focus towards action and initiative. For Geminis, this is going to supercharge their social life and boost their confidence.
Well, even more social energy. I'm already picturing Geminis double booking themselves and running from one event to the next.
That's a very real possibility. The source even specifically warns Geminis to watch out for double booking and overcommitting themselves.
Classic Gemini.
Yeah.
But with all this social activity, is there any time for reflection or introspection?
There is. Late March also brings the new moon in Aries on March 29th.
Okay.
This is a powerful time for setting intentions and starting new projects. It's like a cosmic reset button, a chance to plant seeds for the future you want to create.
Okay, so even amidst the potential chaos of social engagements and lingering relationship drama,
Right.
there's still an opportunity for Geminis to ground themselves and focus on their goals. That's reassuring.
Absolutely. But it's important to remember that Venus retrograde is still active through late March.
Oh, right.
So Gemini should proceed with caution in matters of the heart.
Okay.
Don't rush into anything too quickly, and be prepared for some unexpected twists and turns.
I'm sensing a theme here. It seems like March 2025 for Geminis is all about embracing change, being adaptable, and not taking anything too seriously.
I think that's a great way to put it.
If you agree with that assessment.
I completely agree. And amidst all the exciting opportunities and potential challenges, the source offers one piece of advice that resonates deeply.
Okay, drumroll please. What's the golden nugget of wisdom for Geminis navigating this whirlwind of a month?
Prioritize self-care.
Self-care.
It's essential for every sign, but especially for Geminis who tend to get swept up in the excitement and forget to recharge their batteries.
That's such a good reminder. So Geminis, make sure you're taking those breaks.
Yes.
Getting enough sleep and indulging in activities that bring you joy and peace.
Exactly. March 2025 has the potential to be an incredibly rewarding and transformative month for Geminis.
Yeah.
But they need to remember to pace themselves and take care of their well-being along the way.
I love that. All right, so Libra and Gemini are like the ultimate hype duo.
They are.
What makes their connection so special?
Well, the source calls out that they're both air signs,
Right.
which means they connect on an intellectual and social level.
Okay.
It's all about stimulating conversations, shared interests, and a lighthearted approach to life.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see those two like bouncing ideas off of each other and getting into all sorts of fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so what about Aquarius?
Aquarius.
How do they fit in with the whole Gemini vibe?
So Aquarius, another air sign, really feeds into a Gemini's intellectual curiosity.
Okay.
They're the type of pair that can stay up all night debating philosophy or brainstorming some world-changing invention.
Oh my gosh, I can already picture them having these late-night deep dives, completely losing track of time.
Totally.
Okay, so now let's talk about the fire signs.
All right.
First up, Sagittarius, the adventurer of the zodiac.
Yes.
How do they match with our multifaceted Gemini?
Well, the source points out that Sagittarius actually amplifies a Gemini's restlessness. They're the ones who encourage those spontaneous road trips and trying new things.
Okay, yeah, I can absolutely see that a Gemini and a Sagittarius together would be pure chaotic energy.
Oh, for sure.
But in the best way possible, of course.
Of course.
What about Aries? They're known for that fiery go-getter attitude.
Right, and that energy really complements a Gemini's constant flow of ideas. They're both quick on their feet, always up for a challenge, and according to the source, they might even engage in some playful prank wars.
Oh, stop. I love that.
Right.
Aries bringing the bold moves and Gemini coming up with the intricate plan.
Exactly.
That sounds like a recipe for some hilarious chaos.
It does.
Okay, so we've covered the air and fire signs that supposedly mesh well with Gemini. Were there any signs that the source mentioned to kind of watch out for?
It did briefly touch on Taurus and Scorpio as potentially trickier pairings for Gemini.
Wait, hold on. I need to pause you right there.
Okay.
Earlier, we were talking about how Geminis dislike routine,
Yeah.
and now you're saying Taurus, who thrives on routine, could be compatible.
Yeah.
Help me understand this.
That's a great question, and it really highlights the nuance of astrological compatibility.
Okay.
While sun sign compatibility can give us a general idea,
Yeah.
it's important to remember that everyone's birth chart is unique.
Right.
There are so many other factors at play.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So even though Taurus and Gemini might seem like opposites on the surface, there could still be potential for a strong connection depending on their individual charts.
Exactly, and the source doesn't say that these pairings are impossible,
Okay.
just that they might require a little more work and understanding.
Gotcha. Okay, that clarifies things.
Good.
So we've got the lowdown on Gemini personality and their cosmic BFFs.
Right.
But we can't forget about the future.
No, we can't.
This source includes predictions for Gemini in March 2025.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, it just feels so futuristic and cool to me.
I know, it's like we're getting a glimpse into a possible timeline.
Right. So what does March 2025 have in store for Geminis? The source calls it a cosmic roller coaster, which already has me intrigued.
Well, buckle up.
I know, right? So to really understand these predictions, we need to touch on a key astrological event.
Oh.
Venus retrograde.
Ah, Venus retrograde. It's basically internet famous at this point.
It is. But for those who might not be familiar, can you give us a quick rundown of what it means?
Of course. So in astrology, retrograde simply means that a planet appears to be moving backwards from our perspective on Earth.
Okay.
And Venus retrograde specifically is known for shaking things up in our relationships, our values, and even our finances.
Gotcha. So we've got Venus retrograde happening in March 2025.
We do.
How does that specifically affect Geminis?
So the source says Venus retrograde will be in Aries.
Okay.
And for Geminis, it's going to impact their 11th house of friendships and aspirations.
Ooh. So should Geminis expect some drama with their friends? Breakups, makeups, backstabbing?
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be that dramatic.
Yeah.
The source mentions the return of old friends or even just a reevaluation of existing friendships.
Right.
It's more about revisiting the past in some way.
Okay, so not necessarily a bad thing, but definitely a time to pay attention to friendships and what they mean to you.
Exactly. And on top of that, early March also has Mercury in Pisces.
Okay.
Which the source says will boost a Gemini's public image. It's like a cosmic spotlight is shining on them.
Ooh, Geminis love a little attention.
They do.
Is this when we might see those viral TikTok moments happening?
It's very possible. It's a great time for them to express themselves creatively, put themselves out there, and that natural charm and communication style will really shine through.
Wow. March 2025 sounds like a whirlwind for Geminis.
It really does. Yeah, a mix of like amped up social energy, potential relationship shakeups, and, opportunities to shine in the spotlight.
Right. And through it all, that reminder to prioritize self-care.
Oh, totally.
It's like so important.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of everything.
Yeah.
But bringing the candle at both ends is not going to help anyone.
Exactly. Geminis need to remember that sustainability is key.
Yes. Love that. So to wrap things up for our listeners,
okay,
let's distill this down to the essentials.
All right. So first and foremost, Geminis are the social butterflies of the zodiac.
They are.
They thrive on communication, new experiences, and connecting the dots between different ideas.
Yes, they're like the ultimate multi-hyphenates, always juggling a million things.
Right.
And keeping everyone around them on their toes.
And in terms of compatibility, they tend to vibe well with other air signs like Libra and Aquarius, who match their intellectual energy, and also fire signs like Sagittarius and Aries, who fuel their adventurous spirit.
But as we learned, every relationship is unique.
Oh, totally.
And even those considered incompatible can work with a little understanding and effort.
Exactly right. And looking ahead to March 2025, Geminis can expect a dynamic period full of opportunities and challenges.
Definitely.
It's a time to embrace change, prioritize communication, and remember that self-care isn't selfish, it's essential.
This deep dive has given me a whole new appreciation for Geminis.
Oh.
And their multifaceted nature.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
Regardless of your zodiac sign, consider what resonates with you from that Gemini archetype. Maybe it's their curiosity, their adaptability, or their ability to find connections between seemingly random things.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it's a reminder that we can all benefit from a little bit of that Gemini energy in our lives.
Absolutely.
Embrace new experiences, strike up conversations with people outside your usual circle, and don't be afraid to let your curiosity lead the way.
Such good advice.
You never know what you'll discover.
That's the perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this Gemini deep dive.
It was fun.
Until next time, stay curious, keep those conversations flowing, and remember to take care of yourselves.